Well, happy whatever day this is that you're watching us today. This is Richard Rosen, Winnipeg's friendliest undertaker, and we're grateful for you for joining us here today. Our purpose in doing these interviews is to really share knowledge on a wide variety of topics. Some of them are funeral related, like green burials or end of life planning. Some of them are about managing and protecting your digital assets. And we hope that you've poured yourself a fresh cup and ready to meet our guest today. Today is kind of special because we're actually launching a new segment to grow our knowledge on how to successfully age in place. And this topic struck me a couple of years back, actually back in 2015 when I moved into my story-and-a-half house, and I stared at the steep set of stairs that go up to the second floor where the bedrooms are, and I thought, what am I going to do and how am I going to manage when I get older? And now that I'm in my later 50s, it's becoming one part of an aspect of my life that is going to be a challenge. So I started to reach out to other people in aging in place community that work in various segments and areas of community or in business that cater specifically to needs of seniors. And I want to learn more about what it means to age in place, but also to be able to share that knowledge to others. And that's why we're doing these interviews. So it's about keeping control. It's really about keeping control of our lives. And whether it's fixing those stairs or my healthcare requirements, my financial plans, or if I'm going to really need help in maintaining my nutritional needs. And today, our guest is Fred Pinnell of Heart to Home Meals, delicious meals that are made for seniors. Heart to Home Meals believes that life should get easier as you age and have created this service with your lifestyle, your tastes, and nutrition in mind. I've met Fred through an organization that we're both part of now called Business as an Organization Supporting Seniors. And it's a resource specifically for seniors to make life a lot easier, bringing goods and services to them at economical prices. And that's how Fred and I have met, as being part of Business and Organizations Supporting Seniors. And if you want to learn more about that organization, you can find them on Facebook. And I'll have a link at the bottom on this video, on the social media link that you're watching this from. And with that, Fred, thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about Heart to Home Meals.
So Heart to Home Meals, in your introduction, you probably stole a bit of my thunder, but nonetheless, Heart to Home Meals is a company that's specifically designed for seniors in mind. This is not where a food company where we're trying to shoehorn. We're specifically designed for seniors. So for the nutritional value, the wants, the needs of being able to have good nutritional food that's easy and accessible. Heart to Home Meals is a frozen food delivery service that we deliver directly to the homes of seniors. We'll even put it right in the freezer if they really do require or need that. Heart to Home Meals started about 2007 in Canada, and we've been in since March of 2021 here in Winnipeg.
Okay. And is this a subscription service, or is this just a pay-as-you-go, or how does that part work?
So, you know what, and as you had said, we try to make life easier. So there is no obligation, there is no subscription, there is no minimum order, and like I said, free delivery. I'll probably say that a few times through this interview, but we have free delivery right to the door. So when you get our menu, you will be able to look at the menu, and you'll be able to say, oh, the prices that are listed in here, that's exactly what I would deliver to your door. The only things is desserts. We charge taxes on those, but that's not because I want to. But whatever the prices are in here is basically what I would deliver right to your door.
Okay. I had looked on the website, and I shouldn't have done it before I ate because I was just salivating. I mean, some of the meals, I mean, I love shepherd's pie, and I see that that's on there. And I love shepherd's pie. It is so good. So
yeah, I have numerous customers ask me what my favorites are, and I keep listing them, and then I realize I just got to stop because it's now sounding like I'm an overeater or something. So.
Right. And I guess part of this too is that you have a repeat clientele, and they already have their favorites. I guess they can save their favorites, and you know what they are, and all of those sorts of things.
Oh, 100%. I had one customer calls this morning for delivery for Friday, and she loves a split pea soup, and she ordered 6. So she wanted to make sure that she had them. And then before we ended, she had another 2 more just in case, she said. And she orders weekly.
Oh, nice. Okay. What made you decide to start working and doing this job for Heart to Home Meals?
So it all started actually in February 2020. I went and visited a friend of mine in Florida. She vacations down there, and she actually lives down there during the winter because the winters are very harsh for her. And her husband comes down once a month for a week, but she needed nurse care as she was slowly developing a bit of dementia. So her husband asked me if I would go stay down for 2 weeks because the nurse was was going to be on vacation. So I went down and visited her, and I cooked for her and all that stuff, and known her for years and years and years. But one of the things for the first couple of days, I noticed there's all these plates of food in the fridge on paper plates. And what it was is that because she wasn't able to cook for herself anymore, her husband had worked it out that the nurse would bring whatever you're making for your family, just bring a plate for Joy for the lunch and the dinner. And some of the stuff was, I don't even know how they even eat it. I was thoroughly disappointed with the whole thing. And so I spent a little time while I was down there trying to see if I can find a service down there. But I couldn't find because she lived in the Keys. So, and it was low population. So obviously it was a little difficult. And I couldn't get anything from Miami or Homestead or anything like that. But what ended up happening is one of those times is Heart to Home Meals popped up. And so I, of course, came in mind. Now, as we're getting closer, it just so happens when I was planning on coming back, it's when the pandemic hit. So I brought my friend Joy back with us. We came back to Winnipeg because they were going to shut the borders and all that stuff. So I immediately went, okay, now I got to find a service find a service for her in Winnipeg because she needed something, and I couldn't find anything. And this is when I decided to start on the path of what can I do to be able to help the seniors in Winnipeg. And a small part of me, as I'm age, and as you had mentioned too, we got to take care of ourselves. I wanted this service here in Winnipeg for when I needed it. After doing a lot of bit of research, I decided that I'm going to get into this. So I went and visited a few of the other companies in Southern Ontario, Alberta, talked to many people in Winnipeg, and I realized this is a service. And as of January 1st, I became the owner of Heart to Home Meals here in Winnipeg. And as you could say, the rest is kind of history. But I will always say it was because of my friend Joy.
I can understand exactly that food challenge. When my mom was living on her own and was starting the first part of dementia, all she would eat would be pierogies and wieners, and that's just not, because that's all she could, that's all she could navigate. And when home care started to come in, they said I had to start providing meals.
Yep.
And they just said, well, go buy some TV dinners. Well, that's not the greatest nutritional value at all. And it just did not help. And
Nope.
Being busy and having my own, my own life, and as most people are like that, I really think that this is important work that you've done. So it just really leads to, this is important to Winnipeg as a business, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just some of the things you're alluding to. Like me, we've had lots of home care workers, companies calling us, people from the WRGA calling us because the home care workers are making dinners. They're suggesting like TV dinners, or a family's already put something together. They can just hit in the microwave. And more of them saying, I love serving your food because I know they're going to get a good nutritional meal of something they actually enjoy. And being able to have this type of service where, like I said, I deliver it free, right directly to the door. I'll even put it in the freezer for them. They can either cook it in the microwave, they could cook it in the oven, they can actually have a nutritional meal. And the problem is that there's just not enough of these type of service to be able to offer. And we've exploded out of the gate, and we continue to keep growing every single week. And it's just because of this desperate service that's needed here in the city of Winnipeg. In Winnipeg in the winters, it's treacherous to get out onto the streets. It's treacherous to get out to the supermarkets. And I'm not saying that this is where you place every single meal, but it's going to replace those meals where they just need a good nutritional meal that they just can't get to the store.
Now, I know that you're working in Winnipeg. Do you expand beyond the perimeter in any stretch, or?
We do. We work for some of the senior services groups outside of Winnipeg. We work with the Taché Senior Services, the Seine River Senior Services, the Richot Senior Services, and the Niverville Senior Service groups. And what we do is helps them to take care of the people that is in their groups. But we don't deliver directly to their homes because in rural it's quite spread out. So we deliver to one location, and it either come pick up or they get delivered out by volunteers. So it's been actually a great relationship that I have with all these organizations in Manitoba, and we're always looking for more of that type of thing.
I'm just curious with with all of the challenges of supply chain and things. Have you found any challenges in supplying any of the meals, any of the menu items?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we're not immune to any of them. So, but that happens to be from our manufacturer stands in their kitchen, that it's state-of-the-art kitchen that we have in Ottawa. And if they get 2 or 3 ingredients, they can't make the meal. Then we can't order the meal. In some cases, we had Mekong rice in some of our meals where we couldn't get that, so they replaced it with a white rice, or they replaced it with a raw rice, whichever the menu happened to require. So yeah, so we've definitely had our challenges, and when they can't make the meal, I can't order the meal, I can't supply the meal. But overall, it hasn't been too bad. We've been able to keep a bit ahead of it, but we've definitely had our challenges like everybody else.
Do you have a typical type of a clientele or a typical customer that you seem to be catering to?
Absolutely. A lot of our customers are obviously seniors because we do market to seniors. We do talk to seniors. So obviously, mostly it's the seniors, but generally they're in the late 60s and then their 70s who are ordering from us. Now we have 80-year-olds and we have quite a few 90s, and we have a couple of 100-year-olds who are also ordering from us. But generally, I wouldn't want to say typical, but our usual customer is somebody who lives by themselves, is still relatively independent on their own. They still like to make their own meals. They still like to be able to choose their own meals. And so those are the ones that we really highly encouraged, because living alone, you end up, as you were saying, just making pierogies or just opening up a can of soup or doing a simple TV dinner, because they're not going to make themselves a pot roast or a Salisbury steak or a turkey dinner, where we can offer over 200 different choices of foods that we can offer, the desserts, the soups, the mini meals, the large meals. So generally it's that single person that is living by themselves that they know they can have at least one good meal that they can choose from that they want.
Mhm. Yeah, and they're easy to prepare too. When I was reading your website, they're very, very simple.
Well, and that's what when I was just saying, you got a choice of either put it in the oven or into the microwave, so the package, and then be able to blend it that way. We suggest you do it in the oven because it gives you that more of a home style taste into it. But if you can't wait, definitely you can cook it in the microwave. Generally, the meals are about 30 minutes to prepare, because generally in most cases they're just heating them up. Did I mention the delivery was free? Okay.
I don't know if you did. I was going to actually ask you if delivery was free. So yeah.
Yeah, no, because we just, like I said, right in your opening sentence, that we want, as you get age, things should get easier, and that's what we want to do. Is we want to make as easy as possible. We talk to a lot of kids, and when I say kids, it's ages of you and me, who are talking about taking care of their parents. And I've had so many who've called in crying because they finally found something that they can make sure their parents or mother or father has a really, really good meal, because they want to stay in their home. And one of the biggest aspects of not being able to age in place is not having access to proper nutrition. Without proper nutrition, it creates more falls, and it creates a little bit more uneasiness, and and don't have the strength, and you don't have the desire. Without proper nutrition, that is going to help you to be able to age in place 100%.
Yeah, when you mentioned about just that idea of preparing a meal, my just thinking about my mom navigating in the kitchen, when she's younger. I mean, it was a work of art just watching, and
Right.
I'm sure you can experience the same thing of just watching
Yep.
our family members in the kitchen doing those things and lifting that heavy pot, with boiling potatoes in it to make mashed, and well, my mom was 92 before she died, and just trying to consider her, taking that pot off the stove or reaching into the stove to get the roast out. I mean, I can't even imagine that anymore. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, 100%. I want the toughest decision they have is which meal to choose. And that is basically the biggest reason why I got into this business. When I talk to some of our customers, they phone us, they send us thank you cards. They are just always phoning with applause and accolades, and it's just absolutely incredible because it's something they desperately needed in this city, and that's why I'm thrilled that I was able to bring this to the city of Winnipeg, especially to the seniors.
I'm just thinking about, you mentioned about your typical customer, uh, but tell me, you've got to have other customers as well that don't fit in the seniors criteria. Can you maybe share a little bit about some of the other clients that you've served?
Yeah, we have a few clients that have mobility issues, and some of them are just even in their 30s and 40s, just unable to get around. We serve this wonderful blind lady, and I deliver, and I deliver right to her door, and I stack them inside the bag, and I tell her these two are this, these two are this, and I tell her all the things, and she's got a great memory, and she orders every 2 weeks. She says it's something super easy, and she's getting ill, and she's not senior. And then you know what? And also one thing I want to make sure and emphasize with a lot of people is if anybody's just getting out of the hospital, phone us. We will get the food as quickly as we can to them. And it doesn't have to be on their scheduled day. It doesn't have to, we will do everything in our power to even get it that same day to them because we know how important it is to heal if you have great nutritional food in your freezer.
You're absolutely right. To be able to, you know, to come home and go, I don't need to worry about anything. My family doesn't have to worry about anything. We can get all this set up, and we can have some meals delivered, and we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and I think there's even this other one customer I want to tell you about. She's an accountant, and she lives in downtown Winnipeg. She is many years before she's considered a senior, right? And she said, Fred, I need your service from December to the end of February. She goes, it's tax time, it's my busiest time. I just want to make sure I have good nutritional foods. So I deliver right directly to her every day, and she's answering the door with a phone. She's still got her calculator in hand. So, you know, it's not just the seniors, but that's who we definitely promote and we make for.
Thank you, Fred. I can't think of any other questions that I want to ask you. I'm glad I'm glad that what happened to you prompted you to action. And it always seems that way, that somebody sees something and you find a way to make it work.
Right.
And I'm glad that Heart to Home Meals was a solution. I'm glad that it's something in Winnipeg. I'm really appreciative of everything and how you're making a positive difference for your clients and the betterment for seniors here in the city and in the surrounding area. So this pretty much wraps up us here this afternoon. We thank you for joining us. If you have any questions for Fred, links to Heart to Home will be available on this post of whatever social media platform that you're watching this from. If you have any topics you'd like us to cover, as I mentioned before, please email me, and we are grateful for those opportunities and suggestions that you give us. And for those who have, be assured we are working on scheduling. So thanks for joining us today. This is Richard Rosen, Winnipeg's friendliest undertaker, signing off. Keep safe and keep smiling.
Oh, by the way, did I mention this was free delivery?